Hello everyone and welcome to Overwatch, and today another Revoltech Evangelion Evolution review. Let's start that intro. This figure, I bought it during the sale on HobbyLink Japan in December. Has been waiting for the review for a while now. But yeah, I'm getting closer to collecting them all. The last review that I did of EVA 13 was kind of disappointing, so I hope this one is better. By the way, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that little bell icon to always know when the next review is up. So let's take this guy out of the packaging. Okay, immediately we get our stand. It always comes separate. We got some instruction booklet that should tell us what the figure brings. And I'll swap some of the parts. He himself comes with those plastic parts protecting some of the joints, but very little compared to what I'm used to. I wanted to remove the plastic. Okay, so let's take a quick look at him. Now, this guy is kind of a beast. I see some changes in terms of the articulation that we're used to seeing on these figures. Like, for example, we have a double Revoltech joint on the leg, probably because of the minimalistic nature of this figure. The same thing with this double hinged shoulder. It kind of feels a little bit weird at first. I like that his mouth opens, but we're coming back to him a little bit later on. We have this ground effect part. Most of the Revoltech figures always have this ground effect part. We have two claw parts, so nice detail there. We have this part. I believe it is like simulate blood coming out of a ripped arm. We have this blood part. I don't know if it is to put in the face or where it is from. And another clear effect part. And is that it? No extra hands. That's new. Normally these figures always bring extra hands. This one doesn't. So let me get all of this mess out of the way. So yeah, I got everything out of the package and there's no extra hands. Speaking of the hands, they are not in Revoltech joints. They are in the same type of joints that we saw from the other figure. So they have the hinge itself on the hand. Now this one's actually a lot more sturdy than the other one, but again, no extra hands, and the figure itself looks a lot minimalistic, and I was expecting a little bit more, especially these little parts. I was expecting them to be in ball joints, and there's only two that are, I think, in Revoltech joints. The other ones are part of the mold or glued in. So that's a little bit disappointing, especially because Robot Tamashi has a figure like this that is each one of these are ball joints. So I was expecting a little bit more. So speaking of the accessories, so let's see. This little effect part, blood part, is supposed to connect here on the head, but the peg, I gotta say, the connection really is not, and it stings, god damn it. Okay, it's connected, so we already have our blood effect. I really like the way the mouth opens. And then you can connect this little effect part here, but all of these connections look very fragile, so be careful. So here I'm not going to connect it fully in, but it already creates a really good effect. It is very nice. Now, another effect is with this, and it's supposed to, I believe, remove the arm, and then you can connect this Revoltech joint to create the same effect that we see in the movie with the missing arm, and that looks really cool. But otherwise, this is a very simplistic figure. And then we have finally these little effect parts that we can connect. I believe should be, no, not this one. So each of these holes should connect with the fingers, and there you go. You have a action effect part. Now this guy cannot stand really well on his own because of these weird little feet, because they are clearly meant for him to do the poses where he's in a more beastly four-legged pose, but still I really like how you can pose him with a few accessories that we do get.
And now comes the interesting part. Let your fingers get in there and have a good old rub-a-dub.
Okay, so let's take a look at the articulation. We have a Revoltech joint on the head, but because of the structure of the head, the articulation is a bit limited, but it still can get the full range of motion. Now we have just a hinged mouth. I really like how it opens up. The tongue is stationary, so no articulation there. We have another Revoltech joint that was very stiff on the neck. This allows you good range of motion, but again, it's still very stiff. Probably need to loosen it up. But the very long neck design, the very animalistic design, gives you great range of motion. Now then we have a double Revoltech joint on the shoulder. Now most figures, it can look ugly, like remember Deadpool. Wolverine's a little bit better, but here it works well because it is very well integrated into the design of the figure. So you do have a Revoltech joint coming into the shoulder and then coming into the arm, and it will give you a lot more range than you normally would have. Now all of these again are not articulated, and we have just a Revoltech joint on the elbow, allows you full range of motion, and then we have just a peg with a hinge on the hands. I do like more the system that we used to have with the Revoltech joint, but I gotta say this hides better the joint. Still, this one actually, if you look well, the hinge doesn't look like it's well sculpted. Just not good. This one is perfect. This one just a bad look for the hand. So then we get two sections here. So we have a Revoltech joint on this upper section and on this lower section, and both can give amazing crunch and an amazing leaning back. But if you lean back too much, the joint will become visible. But they do give you good range of motion. Rotation is limited by all of these little tubes. Two of them again are in Revoltech joints. You can rotate them if you want, but they're basically there for more show than anything. Then the legs are a bit complicated because you do have a swivel here and a kick forward here, so it reminds me a little bit of the articulation of the old EVA 02, but It just it's weird. I rather like the system that they had before. This is very limiting. I don't think they should have went with this. But well, it's just here swivel and then here swivel. It's just not very good. Then we have here a double hinge knee. It is very different than what I'm used to with Revoltech, but gives you great range of motion. And finally, a Revoltech joint on the foot with no toe bend. The articulation is weird. Like normally, I praise the Revoltech articulation, even though I think they are hard to articulate. This one is just okay. So now that we looked at the articulation, let's look at their size. Revoltech EVA 02 from the movie The End of Evangelion. Revoltech Evangelion Evolution EVA 02 from the new movies. Bandai High Grade Model Kit EVA 00. SH Figure Arts Lupin III. And finally Figma Ram. This is a hard figure to judge. I do like the mold, I do like the paint job. I think the figure looks really good. And it is not expensive. It was one of the cheapest Evangelion figures from Revoltech that I've bought so far. I actually paid less than 30 euros in the HobbyLink sale, and with taxes I would say it's still below 50 euros. It doesn't bring a lot of accessories. The articulation is not the best. It's a bit weird. I just don't like it that much, but for the price, I'm still giving it my low budget otaku seal of approval. It is a great looking figure overall for your Evangelion collection. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that little bell icon if you haven't. If you have, just like the video. Maybe share it with your friends. Help the channel grow. And you can follow me on Instagram. I'll post pictures on my action figure collection and cosplay. I also publicize the next reviews and videos for the channel, and you can click on the more amazing videos below in the description or in the end of this video.
Do it. See you next time.
Do it! Just do it!